will share. Yeah, look at this quickly. I will read this for you. Linda Pastan, as you can see, she wrote this funny poem, called it Marks. My husband gives me an A for last night's supper, an incomplete for my ironing, a B plus in bed. My son says I am average, an average mother, but if I put my mind to it, I could improve. My daughter believes in pass and fail and tells me I pass. Wait till they learn I am dropping out. Anybody dropping out after the first exam? Any dropping outs?
No, because we will be in trouble.
You would be in trouble. Why?
Because it is an important course, so we cannot drop it.
I see. So, yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, so notice the imagery here. Really, it's really funny. It's a funny poem, really. It's supposed to be a joke. You know, this poem is supposed to be a joke. You know, a wife here speaking about her situation at home, when everybody in the family giving her marks, you know, people giving her A and B and C and F and pass and fail, and she said, wait, I'm dropping the whole course. I don't want you, I'm leaving. So really, this is a funny poem. I'm not going to explain it in any way, but I thought I'll read it for you because it's funny. The next poem is Emily Dickinson, really here. Emily Dickinson, as you can see here, as I said, it's a good poem called Because I Couldn't Stop for Death. And here you can see the whole idea of the imagery and the images we find in this poem. Notice what she said, because I could not stop for death. It's really a funny, sad, well, not funny, but weird, really weird and strange poem here. The poet is talking about in her story here. Emily Dickinson is really a very famous early, late 19th century, early 20th century American poet. She's a very, really amazing, productive, prolific American female poet. Really an amazing poet. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held out just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of grazing grain. We passed the setting sun, or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill. For only gossamer, my gown, my tippet, only tulle. We passed before a house that seemed a swelling to the ground, a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since thou's centuries and yet feels shorter than the day, I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. Yeah. What is she talking about here, our friend Emily Dickinson? Any ideas? I think it's very symbolical and strange poem, really. Really, the writer here is talking about herself when she died. Actually, this is written after she died. as if to say she came back from death and told us how she was taken to death, how death took her away. And here is funny, really. Sorry?
How did you know that? It's weird.
How did she come back from death, you mean?
Is she imagining these things or what?
Oh yeah, of course, it's all imagination, of course. Poetry, you know, poetry, all imagination. Of course it's imagination. Absolutely imagination, of course. She's imagining, you know, herself dead and coming back from death and telling us how death took her away to the grave. How death took her away to her grave. As if to say that this poem actually is telling us, you know, years ago, or years after she died, and now death, she's telling us, she's comparing here death to her man, to her boyfriend, or to her lover, and death came to take her for a ride in his car, in a lovely carriage, to take her in a journey. But we discover that this man is death. This man, this lover, this bridegroom is death, is not a man. What a terrible story. Basmala, what's this, doctor? We don't like that. We don't want to die now. Huh? Yeah. Really, Emily Dickinson is, you know, funny enough, you know, American literature is sometimes, I think, is ugly, because really it's ugly. It's full of death and full of terrible dead thing. I don't know why. I think because they are very guilty people, because they have killed so many people. Huh? What are you talking about, doctor? Do you understand what I'm saying? Huh? Maybe you are asleep, really. You don't want to say you don't want to talk to me today. You are angry with your marks. If you are angry with your mark, you can talk to me anytime. You are welcome to talk to me. Ibrahim said, yes, we are. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, you can talk to me about your feelings, about your marks. If you want to talk about it, you can. But somebody's saying you can't hear me. Can't you hear me? What's wrong with the voice? You can hear me, can't you?
Yes, doctor, your voice is clear.
Yeah. Okay, so really, to talk about the exam a little bit, maybe to make you feel better. Really, I told you that I want people to write and to express themselves in a good way, to write good English, to express themselves and be good, and not to make mistakes and horrible mistakes and terrible grammar and terrible structure. I want people to write good English, you know, a good sentence, capital letter, a sentence with a verb and a subject and verb and object and a full stop, and beginning with a new sentence and so on. I want nice structuring. I want people to write English, please. I want people to write good English. That's the whole story. My problem with students everywhere in the world, that I want people to write good English. I don't want people to say, yeah, I know, but I gave you briefly. Don't say that. I want people to write good English, because we judge people through their writings. Write and write and write. Don't worry. Don't say you wrote briefly 1 line or 2 lines. No, I want more. I said to you, many of you, write more. I want to see your style. I want to see your language. I want to see your power of ideas. I want to see your minds. Come on. I told you, this is literature. We want people to express themselves, to speak up their opinions and feelings. Huh? Really? That's the idea. And again, as I said, be careful. When I say a paragraph, write a paragraph. When I say write, an essay, write an essay. Read my question. I say write a paragraph, so you write a paragraph. You write 1 sentence or 2 sentences. This is not a paragraph. Come on. We want to tell you and to lead you into the good way, to really, we are here to help. What would say, but 1 mark for is what? 1 mark. Read my comments, read my comments, read my feedback, read what I said to you. Huh? Read. Don't say, oh, I made only this little mistake. No, no, no. Look at the whole overall. Look at the overall of your paper and see. Because really, I want to tell you, this is a literature course. We want people to express themselves in an elaborate, in a nice way, in a free, open way. Okay, so yeah, so really the idea should be clear by now. The next exam, I'm sure you will be I'm sure it will be in much better situation. Okay, so anyway, the idea is this, that I wrote to all of you I wrote the feedback to everybody, and everybody should know their mistakes, learn your mistakes and try to get rid of them. And I'm sure you will know what I mean at the end of the day. Of course, that's the whole idea, really. Anyway, to go back to my poem, really, Emily Dickinson is imagining, is creating a story that when you are dead, you will be taken to your grave. And here she is telling us the story, how death came to take her. And the funny thing is, and the terrible thing is that she compares love, or compares really death, or personifies death with her lover, a man, her boyfriend, her lover, her bride, or her husband, or whoever he was, who came to take her for a ride, to take her in a last, a little journey, as if you come to your fiancée and say to her, okay, let's go for a ride. I'll take you to a steep area to watch the beach for a while, and we'll come back, So here, this is the story. She's telling us how death came to her to take her in a journey, which is, as I said, really, it's funny. Because I could not stop for death. She said, I could not stop for death, but death stopped for me. She said, he kindly stopped for me. So death came to me, but she said, I could not stop him. He came to me. And she said, he, you know, she compares here, as I said, using death. Again, she uses the word death in capital D. And as I said, to really mean we are all going to die one day. You know, this is the idea. And she's, as I said, comparing completely in a funny way, in a ridiculous way, comparing death to her man. He came to me, the carriage held but just ourselves. We were only he and me in this carriage. It's like a carriage drawn by horses, you know, like in a really amazing, like royal family thing. And the carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. You know, she said, only us and immortality. What immortality, you know? Again, here, I think she's funny to say immortality. Who? You know, as if to say we the man and wife, or the man or the lover and my boy and me, and immortality. Immortality means we are living forever. We and al-khulud. What do you mean immortality? You know, again here she's really resembling, again using these symbols and images about immortality. Are we going to be immortal? We are not immortal. We will die. We slowly, and then she comes back, you know, how her man came, or death came, to take her in his carriage, and then they drove. We slowly drove, he knew no haste. Notice he here, capital H, means death. So we drove slowly, we were not in a hurry. And I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. So he knocked at my door and I was busy at home, and he said, okay, come on, let's go. So I went quickly. I did not take anything. I left everything at home. My labor, my work, you know, my all housework, everything at home. Even my leisure thing, I left everything. We passed the school where children stroll. So now she's counting where they drove in this carriage. So she said, we passed the school where the kids were playing, and they were playing in a ring like in a yard. We passed the fields of grazing grain. We passed the setting sun. You know, she's really giving you here lovely images, how she's driving in this carriage with these you know, images, the sun, the children playing in the school when they are out from the class, playing in the yard, and the fields with the grain and wheat. And again, when the sun is setting, lovely, absolutely romantic picture. What a funny picture. You know, notice the image here, of course, the whole thing is she's going, you know, she is driven by, you know, she's telling us death is taking her. Or rather, he passed us. Again, you know, she said, he again, who? Death again. He passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill. For only gossamer, my gown, my tippet, or only two. So she said, you know, he took me away quickly, so I didn't wear anything on my shoulders. I felt chilly, I felt cold, because I did not put on my warm clothing, because really it's very chilly and very cold. So I started quivering. The dews, notice here, dews drew quivering and chilling. My gossamer, you know, this is like a little gown or like a blouse or something. My gown, only a little bit, you know, thin, like, you know, very soft and thin, not really warm thing. We passed before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. A house? She's comparing the graveyard, you know, the whole graveyard to a house. And she said swelling. You know, the earth is swelling. Because normally, she said, you know, she's comparing the grave to a swelling, you know, as if the ground is swollen a little bit, you know. And it really is, this is again very amazing image. So describing a graveyard or describing the grave itself or a tomb, if you like, into like a swelling. The roof was scarcely visible, the corniche in the ground. So this little grave was not really high above the ground. It was only a little bit with a little corniche around it, you know, only scarcely visible, a little bit visible. You know, maybe 30 meters, sorry, 30 centimeters or even less than 20 centimeters above the level of the ground. Only a little bit, like a little corniche. Since then, the centuries and yet feels shorter than the day. So now we come back to think that she's as if she's talking in the future and now in the present. And she said, as if now, this has been ages and ages ago when I died. Since then, it's centuries. Means I'm talking about years and years and years when I died. And now, centuries since I died, and yet it feels shorter than the day. You know, I feel as if I just died yesterday. I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. Now she comes back to talk about the horses' heads because she's talking about the carriage. Remember, I said she was driven by a carriage driven by two horses. And the horses here really symbolize, as she said, immortality or eternity. The horses looking like, she said, the horses' heads were toward eternity. When you read this poem, you say, come on, this is a crazy poem. You know, it's all full of images, full of pictures, death and love and passion and schools and, you know, grave and coronation, flowers and grain and what's this? So really it's full of images, isn't it? Absolutely strange, weird, really weird and sickening, really terrifying, sickening images. But yeah, it's a lot of imagery. Really, this is the whole idea.
Doctor?
Yeah?
I've also noticed that she capitalized almost all the words in the poem. What does that imply? Like it's not only about this.
Yeah, Anfal. Very good, yeah, Anfal. Very good, yeah, Anfal. So that means you are not angry with me. Okay.
I have not seen the mark yet, Doctor.
Really? I sent you, all of you, I sent you last night or, well, anyway. Yeah, very good question, Anfal. Yes, absolutely, very good question. Yeah, really to symbolize the whole thing is deliberately to say the general thing, to include everything, not just one person or her and him, but to indicate the whole universal thing, the universality of thing. And that's why she's using, yeah?
Can I ask a question when you finish?
Of course. Yeah, just a second, yeah. So really the capitalization here is to symbolize, as I said, the universality of things. Really the universality of elements, like when she said, especially when like children or ring or fields or grazing or grain or setting and, you know, dews and gown, you know, all these really she, you know, to indicate here again, always to compare life and death, as if to say they symbolize, as I said, the symbolism, the huge symbolism of everything to do with the present life and the afterlife, and this life and maybe the life before and the life after, and so on. So that's why I think all these capitalizations, I think they were very important. Again, ya Anfal, have you noticed another thing, Anfal?
No, what?
You notice the capitalization, which is excellent. Another thing.
Maybe the dashes?
Yes, yes. Very good. The dashes, absolutely. The dashes. Dashes. Really? What's a dash, by the way? In English,
It's a small line comes between the word and the word to show that they are connected to each other.
this is a hyphen. This is a hyphen to connect two words, to say like American, like for example, Chinese American, Chinese American. This is hyphenated. This is hyphen, but dash is a longer line.
I think they work like as a pause, or maybe a moment of reflection for the poet herself.
Yeah, which means what's reflection? When you reflect, what does it mean? Come on, Anfal, you know it. Nabiha? Where are you, Nabiha? Hello?
Here.
Nabiha,
Yes.
I asked you questions in your paper and you have to answer me. Have you seen your paper?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell me now what do you think? Were you with me last term, Nabiha?
Yes, doctor.
In what was the course?
This one?
What do you mean this one? Are you repeating this course?
Yes.
Why?
Because I get a good mark, but then I submit the final exam because of a technical problem. Then you say that university deducted my mark.
Nabiha,
Yes.
Nabiha. So you are really mad with me since 3 months now. You are angry with me all these times, and you are quiet. Wow.
Because
Nabiha,
it's an easy
Nabiha.
course. I can't. Yeah, I can't accept that mark. Really.
So that's why you are repeating it.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I asked you, you know what, I honestly, I didn't know that it was you. And I'm sorry this was happened to you, but I had to penalize you that time. I'm sorry, maybe you were innocent. Look, I'm saying maybe you were innocent. I'm not sure, but I had to penalize you. But you see, again, I asked you questions in your paper. So you know, when I read your paper, wallahi, I thought it was you, and I said, maybe was it that Nabiha? Was she that the same Nabiha I know? Huh? Yeah. So now I understand my questions are half answered. Now, now my questions are half answered.
So you thought that I'm another Nabiha?
I thought you are somebody else. So how do I know? But there are many Nabihas in the world, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same.
Yeah, well,
What
I'm sorry,
can I
Nabiha.
do?
Wallahi, look, I know maybe, but you should have told me, you know? You should have come again and spoke to me. Don't grudge me. Don't feel angry inside you. And you know, be okay about it. Okay, I know it's funny, but are you happy with your mark now?
It's less than what you give me in the first test in that course. Less with my 1 mark only.
Really, was it?
I say the mark?
No,
No
no.
need.
Do you know, Anabiha, do you know why?
Why?
Because I asked you all these questions because I was worried. Because I was worried about your paper, and because I asked you these questions, I really wanted to give you more. Wallahi.
So you can't change, doctor.
No, I'm telling you, because I was worried. I told you in my paper, I was worried. What did I say to you?
Is this yours? You think that using the style of another Nabiha?
No. I don't mean another Nabiha. I thought that this is really too great to be true. I thought this is something, maybe you had a hand, somebody helping you, or you had something, you know, because I had my doubts.
There is no time, doctor, to have anyone to help me. It's 2 hours only.
Ah, how
How
do I,
to-
Yes, doctor, there is no time.
how do I
I agree
know?
with her.
There's a
Nabiha,
little time to answer it by yourself.
Nabiha, how do I know? How do I know?
You know
I
by the
have
time.
Nabiha, ya binti, please, we have no control over you there. So I looked at your paper is excellent. Huh? But I thought, wow, this is a lovely paper. But is this really you? I was worried.
Me.
Nabiha, I was worried. Do you understand me?
So there is nothing to tell you that this is the truth. How to tell you? You will even I said if it is me, how you can believe me? Yeah,
Well,
there's nothing.
yeah, I know.
Because
Of course,
really,
of course. Look, really, there should be, and there should be, I say, there is a trust, and there should be a trust between us. And really, that's the idea. But you see, for me as professor, I'm giving you all these exams at home and all this, we have the right to doubt sometimes when you find a paper which is excellent, we say, whoa, wow, you know? So that's why I was saying to you, you know? So really,
Doctor,
yeah?
I want to say one thing. Can I?
Yeah, please, go on.
What do we need to do to prove that that paper is ours? Like what
Yeah.
should we put in it? Because without the element of trust, we don't actually have any
No,
evidence that paper is ours.
no. Let me tell you something. Just I'm looking at Nabiha's paper now. Yeah.
Doctor, we always try to improve ourselves, so I think that is not a criteria to measure our performance.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Look, Nabiha, what I said. I am worried. Have you read my final note? I said, Nabiha, I'm worried that this is not yours. Tell the truth. Wait. Tell the truth. I will forgive you. Why? Because, well, I don't know you. I haven't seen you. I don't know you. And to be honest, honest to God, I didn't know that it was the same Nabiha of last term. I thought this is somebody else, of course. So that's why I looked at your paper is excellent. I really wanted to give you more. Your exam is 18, should be 18 or 17, really. But because I was worried, okay, Nabiha?
Doctor, even if you want me to open the camera and see that the one who is answering, it's okay with me, but don't say that. Maybe
Yeah. I know.
If I know that, I will say to you, see, when I answer the question.
Good. I'm happy that you said that. But you see, the reason I asked you, how many times I asked you, come on, is this yours? Isn't it? I asked you so many times, is this yours? You see why? Because I thought this is wow, this is lovely. Okay? So don't worry, you will be fine. Your repetition of the exam will not be wasted, okay? But I'm surprised that you are allowed to repeat an exam like this if you are not happy with it, but never mind. Okay, I will answer your question. Who was asking? Faiz? Was it Faiz?
Yes.
I will answer this towards the end of this class, because I'm talking here about the exam more about than the thing. I will talk about it. I will answer all your questions in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So really, this is so I was asking Nabiha my question and I forgot. What dashes really, we said reflections, which means there are gaps, which means we readers have to fill in these gaps. We have to think. There are many things which are not said. When you have a dash, you really wanted to explain and explain and explain, and to go on and digress, and maybe digress and digress, right? And then, you know, you sort of don't do it. And I think this is the idea here. Dashes, not hyphens, dashes mean really you have to say more and more and more, but you don't. You just maybe leave a dash for you as a reader to maybe think and maybe come back again and maybe fill in other ideas and, you know, so on. So that's why here you will find, again, I think this writer, especially Dickinson, mainly Dickinson, and maybe Anne Bradstreet, another American poet, also uses a lot of dashes. And I think these dashes here, they mean a lot in English here. I think she wants to say more and more, and she left it to us to say it and to think about. Anyway, the poem here really for you, boys and girls, is an example of imagery and a lot of images everywhere. The second poem is, as you can see, really, I will give it to you quickly today again, is another smaller poem. It's called The Red, Red Rose by our friend here, I think, next page, Robert Burns, the Scottish poet, absolutely lovely Scottish man, Robert Burns. And look at this small, absolutely small poem. I concluded my section of poetry with him. A red, red rose. And look, this is, you know, he's a Scottish man, and the way he's saying it, I think, I don't know if I look into Google and try to find somebody to read this in Scottish accent, but I will try to imitate the Scottish accent. Well, because myself, actually, I spent 4 years in Scotland. Myself, I did my PhD in Scotland. So I know some of the Scottish accent a little bit. But yeah, really, here he's Robert Burns, the amazing Scottish poet, talks here about his love. And he compares her to a red, red rose. Oh, my loaves like a red, red rose. My love, notice here the way they love means my love. My love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like a melody, like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. You know, again here, of course, as you can see, this is a song, really. It's been sung many times by Scottish people. Oh, my love's like a red, red rose that newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melodies that sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee till, my dear, till the seas gang dry, till the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun. I'll love thee till, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee well, my only love, and fare thee well a while, and I will come again, my love, though 'twere 10,000 mile. Well, he's talking to his love. He's saying, my love, you are as red, red rose. You are so lovely, like a red, red, red rose. A red, red rose which springs, which comes out in June. It's so lovely, he said, oh, my love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. Even he's comparing his love to a lovely music, a lovely tune which is played in June. You know, again, is a lovely image here to compare her to a lovely song, you know, a lovely melody. Again, you think, so my love, you know, my love, you know, hello love, you know, love, really the Scottish accent to say love. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, bonny, again, my bonny, my good, again, the Scottish word for good, my bonny lass, my good girl. So deep in love am I, again, so deep love am I. I'm deeply in love with you. I will love thee till, my dear, till the seas gang dry. I will love you. I will love thee. I will love you till, my dear, till all the seas, till all. Here really means all. Till the seas gang really mean going to dry, or going dry, till all the seas going dry, till the seas gang dry, my dear. He repeats that, and the rocks will melt with the sun. Again, look at this terrible, amazing, strong image. That rocks will melt in the sun. Rocks don't melt. As if to say, I will love you till the rocks melt, which means they will never melt. So he will love her forever. I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. Oh, while the sands of life shall run. Again, you know, sands, again, is comparing or trying to say how the sand will run. I don't know how sands run. You know, again, the unbelievable images. He really is using a lot of images, as you can see here. Red, red rose and songs of June and melodies and, you know, again, the melting rocks and the seas will dry and, you know, so on. All these amazing images, of course, he's repeating that. And he repeats the same thing again. And fare thee well, my only love, and fare thee well a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 mile. You know, as if to say, I will. Yeah?
Doctor, what is the rhyme scheme in this poem?
Oh, it's, as you can see, rose, June, melody, tune. So here you can see lass, notice, lass, I, dear, dry, and then dear, drear, sun, run, and well, there is there is some irregularity. The first one, A, B, again, as you can see, A, B, C, B, the same thing. A, notice las, it doesn't rhyme with anything. Bonnie Lass, again, it's here, there's no, of course, the first one with the third one do not rhyme. So there is here irregularity, but the second with the fourth, I and dry. So really here you can say there is a lot of irregularity. The last two stanzas, you can see them, they are fine. A, B, A, B, and again, A, B, A, B. Okay, so yeah, so there is irregularity here. As you know, I told you this before, really, in poetry, there's always this problem of regularity and irregularity and so on. So yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I think, the examples I want to give you today about imagery and images. And really, there is another poem I want to talk about, but I will leave it till another topic. I will study it with another topic in the question of situation or setting, which is the flea. Maybe I have some time. I will do that with you later on. Okay. So yeah. Any question about this? I think that's enough for today about imagery and images. Any question about that for today?
Thank you, Doctor.
No, Doctor, thank you.
I will answer your. Let me stop the recording because I think they don't